What's going on? The Late Night Love Doc is back once again. I'd like to thank everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I'd like to thank everyone who has liked previous videos. And I welcome you back once again for another wonderful session. All right, this channel is about relationship advice, dating, marriage, everything that has to do with relationships. That's what this channel is about, right? The reason that we do this, or the reason that I do this, is because I want to be a gift and I want to give back to someone. You know, I did not have advice in terms of relationships whenever I was a young man, and I ended up in lots of dating situations. I had lots of girlfriends in my time. You know, my time could have been better served had I had good relationship advice in my life, but I did not have that. Right? So rather than sit around and be mad about that and be upset about it, I decided I wanted to give back to someone today. So all the wisdom, all the experience, all the knowledge that I have went through in my life, I'm now going to share with you, because now I am a mature male. I have a voice, I have a very creative mind, and I have a very unique perspective. All right, so thank you for tuning in. Just lay back and relax. We'll be with you about the same time, about 20-30 minutes. Got a wonderful topic today. Today I'm going to be talking about you need to ask more questions. My topic is you need to ask more questions. All right, so this is all about developing a relationship with someone brand new, a potential prospect. Right? You have someone that you met some way, somehow. Right? And you're in the beginning process, or what they call courting. Give me just a second. I'm going to take a little sip so I can continue here. All right. Just want to get myself right before I get into this. Now, the reason I'm bringing this to you is because a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people do not ask questions. They don't ask enough questions. Right? When you have someone who is trying to enter into your life and is getting to the point where a long-term commitment may be coming, right? Before you commit yourself, you need to ask questions. You need to ask questions because there's information that you need to ascertain, right? And this information that you receive is for your edification. And this information is going to help you determine if this person is a good fit for you. This is something that you need to know. Is this person a good fit? Now, me as a young man, I did not ask a lot of questions. Basically, I looked at a female, she looked at me. If we thought that we liked each other for whatever reason, oh, he's cute, she's cute, then we would just go out and that was it. Now we're boyfriend, girlfriend. And I went through that many times. Some of you brothers, some of you sisters can probably relate to what I just said. You see a person of the opposite sex, you think they're attractive, you find a way to get around them, you guys eventually go out, next thing you know, you're boyfriend and girlfriend. And 6 months down the line, you find yourself single again. Right? Because you found out something that maybe you could have found out in the beginning and could have saved yourself some time. Right? That's not to say that you're better than anybody. It's not to say that we're better than anybody else. It's just that you're not compatible with every person out there. Right? And how are you going to find out if you're compatible? You need to ask questions and have these discussions with someone. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Here's something that you need to know. Asking questions for many of you is a filtering process. It's a filter. And what that filter is going to do, it's going to shut out people who are not serious. Right? Because if you want to be in a relationship with someone and you're serious, you need someone who's serious as well. So by asking questions, that's actually a filtering process. Because if you have someone who's a joker, you have someone who wants to waste your time, someone who wants to run through you, abuse you, they're not going to be answering your questions. Or when they do answer your questions, they're going to be very vague with the answers. The answers are not going to be very good. You know, when they answer your question, you're still going to have more questions about the answer they just gave you. Like, well, shoot, now I got more answers. So asking questions is a filtering process, right? It'll help you determine the serious from the jokers. Now, this depends on what you're trying to do with your life now. If you are just trying to waste time and you're just trying to have somebody run through you and you don't care what happens to you, then you can just move forward and just accept any old body if you want. Right? But that's not the reason for my advice. My advice is for someone who really, really wants to be serious about a relationship, who really wants a good relationship. That's what this channel is about. Giving you good, sound advice. Right? That's what I said I was going to do, and that's what I'm doing. Right? If you care about who you end up with, and you want something good in your life, ask some questions. Just ask some questions, and you're going to find out if this person is serious or not. They call you on the phone. This is for both men and women. This is not targeting any sex over the other. This is for men and women. If you're talking to someone and you're in the beginning stages, when you get on the phone and you have those conversations, or if if you're out having dinner or whatever, ask questions. But what kind of questions should I ask? Ask everything. All right, let me back up a little bit. Now, when you first get to know a person, when you first start talking to them, right, there's some things that you should probably hold back on, right? There's more serious questions that should come later down the line. You don't hit them with the serious questions in the beginning. You just hold off on those serious questions. Just kind of back off of that, right? So you have your early preliminary questions, then you have your second round questions, and then you have your final round questions. I just made that up just now. But basically, that's how it goes. You start off with your early questions. You move on to the second round, which are more detailed questions. Then you move on to the final round, which are more serious questions. Well, what's a serious question? A more serious question, something that you wouldn't ask in the very beginning unless you just don't give a damn, is something like, you ever had an STD? You know, that's not ice-breaking relationship stuff that you do, like on a first date or a first conversation. You know, I'm using this as an example. That's not something that I would advise you hit somebody with that from the beginning. Because you're taking your time with this person. You're not rushing into anything. So asking them about an STD later on down the line is a normal thing, right? Because you're not running to jump into bed. If you are running to jump into bed with this person, then you're probably not serious. All right, so questions like that, those are the final round questions, right? Well, that's another way of saying questions that are more serious later on down the line. That's when you're ready to cross the line and like you're really ready to, talk about, hey, engagement and marriage, when you really, 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 really get serious. But in the beginning, right, just start throwing out questions because you want this person to talk about themselves, right? And if they don't want to talk about themselves, that's a big red flag that this person probably don't want to deal with you. on a serious level. And you can find that out from just asking some questions. Let's just say you get on the phone with this person and y'all talking. Yeah, everybody has the basic questions that we always ask, but just keep asking them. Just keep asking them. Just keep asking them. And when they decide they don't want to answer questions no more, you got your answer. Then it's time to move on. And your emotions are not hurt because you have not allowed yourself to get deeply involved with this person. So you say stuff like, hey, you don't have a criminal record, do you? You got a clean background? I mean, everything is fair game. And I said the whole preliminary, final round, second round, I said all of that, right? I'm just throwing that out there. But that is not something that I've, written in stone about that. Now, if you're a person that's bold and you want to get right to it, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I support that message. If you want to get on the phone the very first time and get right to the nitty gritty, you have my blessing, child. You have my blessing. Go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's really not too much. There's really nothing that's off limits. If you want to know something, you need to ask it. And you also got to remember, you're about to give your life over to another person, right? You're about to commit your life to this person. So you need to know what this person is all about and what they've done. You need to know this person's history. You need to know this person's morals. You need to know this person's views. You need to know their background. You need to know about their previous relationships. You need to know about their medical history. You need to know about their financial life. This is stuff that you need to know, because let's just say you're considering getting married. You need to know this information. There's no two ways about it. You need to know it. There's no question that's off limits when you're thinking about bonding yourself to another person, and not just marriage. If you're in a long-term relationship with this person and you're around each other for months, then years, yeah, you should continue to ask questions. Don't ever stop asking questions. Okay, let's just say you've been with somebody for 2 years. You've been around them 2 years, but you haven't asked all the possible questions. And one day you decide that you want to. Right? Now, some people are going to take offense to that. They're going to take offense to you asking the question like 2 years, a year later. But it's okay. After the offense wears off, they should be able to come out and give you the answer to the question. And I understand people being offended by that. You waiting 1-2 years, now you want to know this. I can understand. I understand the point of view where that might upset someone because they feel like, hey, you should know me by now. But you don't really know this person if you haven't asked enough questions, right? And there is a resource that I can give you that gives you specific questions that you can ask. Because a lot of people are not sure what to say. Right? You don't just jump in a relationship with someone and start dating them, and all of a sudden you become boyfriend, girlfriend. And then you find out this person has domestic violence charges. And they like to go upside their partner's head. Oh, but you'll find out in the future. Right? That's the kind of stuff you need to be researching and asking about. Sometimes you can just ask a person that. Just ask them. Say, hey, have you ever put your hands on someone that you were dating or in a relationship with? Have you ever hit someone you cared about? Have you ever smacked someone, punched someone? Some people are going to say that that's ridiculous. I'm here to tell you, it's not ridiculous. There's no question that's ridiculous. It's just not. If there's something that you want to know, ask the damn question. Just ask the damn question. As long as your question is not violating anything or hurting anybody, they should be able to answer. They should be able to answer it. It's just a damn question. know, if the question's not going to make them drop dead, if the question's not going to make them lose money, it should be no problem to answer the question. It should be no problem. Just answer the damn question. Do you have a criminal background? You know, are you into any type of drugs? Have you ever had a drug problem? When's the last time you was in a relationship? How recent ago? Have you ever cheated on one of your past partners? How's your credit rating? Have you ever been bankrupt? I mean, I'm giving you a drop in a bucket. There's literally thousands of questions that you should be asking. You should be asking. What's your family's medical history? Does your family have a history of diabetes? Does your family have a history of heart disease? What's your relationship like with your mother? What's your relationship like with your father? Do you have any kids? I'm just saying these as they're coming to the top of my head. Now listen. Now, when you start asking these questions, I don't want you sounding like the police. Don't just sit there and rattle off question after question like you're doing a survey, right? Ask your question. Hopefully, they'll answer your question. And when you get done listening to their response, you turn around and you answer the same question. Answer the question yourself without them having to ask you. You turn around and you say, do you have any children? They say, oh, well, I have one son. You turn right around and say, oh, well, I don't have any children. I was just curious. But don't sit there and sound like you're doing an FBI interrogation. I'm not telling you to sound like that. You shouldn't do it. The conversation should still be somewhat enjoyable. All right, so if you have questions written down somewhere, or if you want to go to the resource that I have available and you can just ask for it, and I'll show you where to get it, where you can purchase it. They have all the possible questions that you can ask someone. Right? I don't want you sounding like an FBI investigator. I want it to sound like a normal conversation, right? But the most important thing is that you should be asking questions, and they should be willing to answer those questions. And that's going to help you determine if someone is serious about you. Right? If somebody's willing to answer all your questions, you know, no matter how edgy the questions may be, that person is probably serious about you, and they probably really, really want to be with you in a long-term committed relationship. Right? Because there's a lot of edgy questions that we can ask people, right? There's going to be edgy questions in there, right? And there is no right answer, right? But there's just stuff that you want to know. Just because if a person says they have a criminal background, that doesn't mean they're disqualified from being with you. I mean, it all depends on what you want in your life. But the thing is, this is information that you should have. This is stuff that you should know. You should know this information about this person, right? It shouldn't be no 4 or 5 years go by and there's stuff that you don't know about your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Oh, I didn't know that. You should know most of the stuff that pertains to your boy. I mean, I'm sure there's some things that you don't know, but you should know a lot about them. You should know a lot about them. You should know a lot about this person. A lot. So it's very important, very, very important that you're asking questions to any potential person that you think is going to turn into a serious relationship. Don't be afraid to ask questions, right? And like I said, this is a filtering process. And don't forget to answer the questions your damn self. just ask a question and not be ready to answer that same question. Right? So this is gonna help you. This is gonna save you a lot of time, because like I said, you're not compatible with every person. Right? Doesn't mean you're better, doesn't mean they're better. You're just not compatible with everybody. You got two different personalities, you got two different mindsets, you just don't belong together. It doesn't mean you're better than them. You just don't belong with this person. You have a personality clash. You have a mind clash, mental clash. Right? But you're never gonna get this information. You're never gonna know anything about this person if you're not asking. So make sure you're asking questions. Right? If you don't know what questions to ask, and you don't know what you should be asking, just send a message. You send me a direct message, or you can leave a link in the comments below that you want to take a look at this resource that I have for you. It's going to give you a lot of questions that's going to, really a lot of jokers are going to be out of there in the first 30 seconds. They're not going to answer these questions because they just are not serious. As soon as you start asking some of these questions, they're out of there. They're going to find a reason to get off the phone, and they're not going to want to call you back because they don't want to answer these questions. They don't want to touch these questions. Right? And that's good for you. You're going to save a lot of time. Right? You don't want to sit around wasting time. Right? So I hope you appreciated this message. That pretty much is the conclusion of this session. Make sure you're asking questions. I'd like to thank you if you've tuned in all this way. I'd like to thank you for watching this video or listening to this video. If you appreciated this message, make sure you hit the like button for me. You know, share this with somebody if you feel like they can use this message. Right? Because this channel is for everyone. This channel is for all of us. This channel helps me because I like to help others. Right? This is how we get over our own pain and our own issues, by helping others. I'm not saying I have pain. I'm just saying I felt like I wanted to help someone because I didn't have anybody to help me. So I want to be a gift. I want to be a blessing to someone else. So that's why I started doing this channel. And I hope someone can appreciate this. Right? If you have any comments, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment thread below. We can have a further conversation about this topic. Right? And I'm going to continue up the road. I said everything I wanted to say in this video. Another session gone. Thank you for tuning in to the Late Night Love Doc. I'll catch you on the next session. I'm out.